is there any player who ever can? Because, McTominay is amazing. Kvaratskhelia was known as Kvaradona. Is there any player who you think will ever come close to the amount of hero worship?
I will tell you one thing. For me, come close is impossible. Will never happen. Not even in 200 years. No chance.
God.
Because Maradona is about the culture. It's not about football. It goes beyond football. If you go to Napoli around the streets, you will see Maradona everywhere. He will never die in Napoli. It's impossible. It's really in the culture. I can't explain. It's something that I don't think exists in any other city with any other player, because he's the only one who made them feel really happy. Then others can win things, but that feeling in that moment for the city was a very complicated moment for the whole city, for all the Napoli fans. And then he decided to go to Napoli rather than going elsewhere.
Club,
yeah, and to make it's like if Messi today decides to go to Roma. Yeah, it's completely shocking that you decide to be
at a club like this.
Yeah,
moving from Barcelona.
It's like a mission. You are on a mission. So
I've always tried to understand this from the outside.
Just to tell you one quick thing on one of the players you mentioned, I have to tell you, Kvaratskhelia gave that kind of vibe just because Kvaratskhelia was very humble, very serious, and then I found few players who in Napoli history make you jump from the sofa when you score a goal. And there are 2-3 goals from Kvaratskhelia. If you go check a goal Napoli-Atalanta, I will never forget. One of the best goals I've seen in my life, and I was like, this is not normal. This is Messi, Ronaldo stuff. It's not Italy stuff. And so Kvaratskhelia has been, for me, number 2.
Oh, wow.
Damn, that's high praise.
They call him Kvaradona.
No, I mean, that's really, really high praise. Why do people say that Napoli is often seen as like, or sees itself, or is treated as it's outside of Italy, and so like Napoli fans have like a different passion to their game?
Because it's completely different. If you go to Napoli and if you go to all the other main cities in Italy, it's completely different. It's like going to Buenos Aires. So the feeling is completely different. How the people behave is completely different. It's very South American kind of culture.
Oh, interesting.
But also I think there's a socio-economic element.
Like,
to it.
give you an example. Also social and economic, but just to give you a normal life. In Milano, in Roma, or any other city,
Turin,
you eat around 7:30, 8. In Napoli, you eat at 9:30. The day is completely different. It's like completely different. The culture is completely different. Even the language. At the end of the day, in Milano, you speak Italian. In Napoli, you speak Napolitan. 90% of the people speak Napolitan rather than Italian.
Wait, what are the words that are different?
No, it's completely. If two people from Napoli start talking between each other, you will not understand.
You switch everything.
Even as an Italian, you will not understand anything.
Would you say it's the same as it feels similar to Catalan? Barcelona,
it's very
it
similar.
feels similar to Spain and
similar.
Barcelona. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Jeremy
Very
Doku. Any Chelsea news?
Chelsea news. I think now the next one will be the centre back. After signing Palestra, right wing back, I think they will go for a centre back. Lacroix from Crystal Palace could be the name they are negotiating.
Your boy.
I think that could be
France.
That could be the next one. Very good player.
Were you surprised by Xabi Alonso choosing the Chelsea project?
No, I was not surprised, to be honest. I think Chelsea is still fantastic place to be. Okay, maybe in the last years it's been a bit complicated, but they are, first of all, world champions.
Question for Fabrizio. Rafinha staying in Barcelona?
At the moment, yes, he wants to stay. Then let's see. Maybe if a big proposal arrives from Saudi, let's see. But at the moment, everything is under control. He's very happy at Barcelona. He wants to stay. So.
Man, losing him to Saudi would be feels too soon.
No, I like him so much. He's a bit injury prone these days. I think it's the age.
Yeah, last season.
And also like he plays very aggressive pressing style, but he's still.
Sometimes also last season they were like forcing him to return as soon as possible, And when you start doing this once, twice, then you risk to have too many injuries. But I hope he stays in Europe. He deserves to be still at Barcelona, try win the Champions League.
Question for Fabrizio. Why isn't Barca signing Rashford when he produced great numbers last season?
I don't understand as well. I like Rashford a lot. For me, Rashford was perfect player. Can play number 9, can play on the wing, did very well, behaving fantastic, not creating any problem when he's on the bench. I don't get why they don't keep him.
I can explain.
Tell
As
me.
a Barcelona fan, I can explain.
Here we go.
In Barcelona,
Joe telling us.
In Barcelona, don't look at numbers. So Rashford struggled because, first of all, he couldn't press. And that's why we signed Anthony Gordon for that match. We need a pressing machine because when Rafinha was out, we lacked a press on that side of the pitch.
Okay.
And then remember in the game against Atletico Madrid, the second game, the critical second leg, we put him on the bench and played Fermin Lopez there because he can't do the things. Fermin Lopez was actually played out of position because Fermin Lopez can press. Because Hans Flick is all about you need to press.
No, makes sense.
That's why Rashford, great numbers, but
it's
no,
difficult.
Romeo 1, Trevor hating on Arsenal as he refuses to ask about their transfer news. I haven't seen anyone ask about Arsenal. Any transfer news for Arsenal? Trossard has
transfer
gone
news.
to
Galatasaray.
Is that a Greek?
Trossard will go to Besiktas.
Yeah,
Besiktas.
He accepts to go. Now after the game, he will meet with Besiktas again. and then they will decide.
After this game?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Going to Turkey.
There is Besiktas in the US to meet with him, with his agent. So
wow, that's big. Okay.
There is going to be something with Trossard. And then in terms of incomings, I think Bruno Guimaraes could be the next one in midfield. And then a top winger. So Morgan Rogers, first option, top priority. Otherwise, Barcola, but I think Barcola, Liverpool are also pushing a lot.
Barcola, Liverpool would be nice.
Yeah, top player.
Oh, that's going to be...
Barcola, Liverpool would be really nice. Especially with Iraola coming in like...
That's a strong midfield, though.
What?
I don't see the creativity, but I think it's a strong athletic midfield.
Arsenal.
Yeah, Guimaraes and Declan Rice. But they need a creative player. And Odegaard, I don't think is creative enough. I don't think
he had a bad season.
Yes.
Yeah, true. But Bruno is good. Arteta is in love with Bruno. It's been like 5 years trying to sign him.
It's his kind of player. It's his kind of player.
Since he was at Lyon, they always wanted him.
Nikolai says, please ask Fabrizio if any team is willing to sign Joe.
As fake news. Director.
Fake news.
As technical director.
Ah, that's a good idea.
Ooh.
After your analysis on Rashford?
Ooh, yes, as technical director.
Yeah.
Please ask Fabrizio why so many teams seem to hijack Newcastle transfers.
I think this is all social media stuff. This is not reality. I mean, Newcastle, maybe the problem is that, when you see so many players leaving, maybe the project can seem less exciting. So you see last summer Isaac is leaving, this summer Tonali is leaving, Anthony Gordon is leaving, maybe Bruno Guimaraes is leaving. So maybe a player can agree on terms, then another club arrives last minute and can be more fashion, more exciting to go to the other club. That's what can happen. But I think this is just a social media stuff. It's part of the game. Deals are getting hijacked to several clubs. Last week it happened to Inter with Palestra. It can happen to any club. I don't think it's just for Newcastle, to be honest.
Someone has a question for you. For Fabrizio. Recently, the prices of players in the Premier League have plummeted this window. I heard somewhere something about a change in FFP rules. What is the reason behind the inflation?
I don't think there is going to be a change. I agree that sometimes it's getting completely crazy with prices.
Yeah.
Completely crazy. But I don't think there is going to be a change. This is just part of the game. When you want to sign, especially when you want to sign an English player in England, the price goes up. I think a player like Elliot Anderson, for me, is a fantastic player, but he's a player maybe for 70, 80 million. To pay 116 is because he's English, homegrown, and so you need that kind of...
Fabrizio is very diplomatic. For me, Elliot Anderson, I wouldn't pay anything above 20 million. Actually, Elliot Anderson would pay me to play for my team because I don't like players like that.
I like
Declan Rice would pay me
I like
to play for my team.
But it's like when Arsenal signed Declan Rice, they paid probably more than the actual value of Declan Rice, but you need that player. You must sign the player. Overpaying is fine.
Let me ask Fabrizio.
And now they won the league.
A player like, for me, instead of signing Elliot Anderson, I would sign a player like Angelo Stiller. I think he's a far more superior player.
Yeah, but with Angelo Stiller, you still spend 50 million.
Yes, he's
and you have to see if the player is going to work, if he's going to do well at Man City. The Premier League, the country is different, it's not homegrown. So you need to check many things. And it's a season where Pep Guardiola is no longer there. There is a new coach, so you can't fail. This summer, you can't fail the midfielder. Rodri is leaving in 1 year, so you need to make sure your signing is perfect. What if Angelo Stiller is another Nico Gonzalez? Nico was signed from Porto for 60 million. It was a disaster.
I wouldn't have signed.
So that wait, but this is an interesting
point.
With
Elliot Anderson, I know what I'm buying.
Yeah,
maybe I'm overpaying, but I know what I'm buying. So I understand why City did that.
So essentially what you're saying is sometimes the thing we don't understand about whether a transfer does or doesn't go through for a team is because the team is not just thinking about the value of the player on the field, but it's all the intangibles that might affect the player off the field.
Exactly, or also, there is also another factor, and maybe for Angelo Stiller, now you mentioned Angelo Stiller, I like the player, but maybe no one is negotiating for Angelo Stiller in terms of top clubs. For Elliot Anderson, if he wasn't going to Man City, maybe he goes to Man United. Or maybe Arsenal can enter the race, and you have a problem, because the player is going elsewhere, and that could be a problem. So there are several factors.
There are many buyers.
There's rival cost almost.
Yeah, also, especially in England.
Were you surprised it didn't work out at AC Milan? Or was he too young, Di Cattelia?
Yeah, I think he was also a little bit shy, to play at these clubs. Inter and Milan, when you play in San Siro, we always say in Italy, if you get the first, the second, and the third game wrong, the people start from the stand, they start saying, you can hear, they are not happy, and it's difficult to get out of that tunnel. I only remember Denzel Dumfries who did that in the recent years. First games were terrible, conceded a penalty against Juventus in the last minute in October, so it was like, okay, we have to offload him, loan, and then he was able to turn the story. But then for the Catalan, the problem was the beginning. He was a little bit shy, the fans started to be, why this guy is not performing, and went like this. But the player is very good. Atalanta has been fantastic.
Okay, 2 questions for Fabrizio from the chat here. One, Trevor, can you ask Fabrizio who Manchester United's midfield targets are now?
Well, now they signed Andre Santos, Ederson is not coming, so they need a defensive midfielder. For example, one of the players they've had in consideration for a long time, Baleba, from Brighton. The player wants to join, he was a target 1 year ago, so maybe they could go back for him now. He wasn't a top target so far, so the reality is that he was not number one. But now, Tchouaméni is signing a new contract at Real Madrid. Ederson off, so there are not so many midfielders on the market. Camavinga is difficult also because Camavinga wants to stay at Real Madrid. So you need to go there, change his mind. It's not easy. Camavinga really wants to stay and change his Real Madrid life. So let's see. I think it will be difficult to get Camavinga.
Oh,
so
that one straight in the jewels.
Another name could be Alex Scott, but Bournemouth want to keep the player, offer him a new contract with release clause. Let's see, but they will do an important signing in midfield for sure.
Fabrizio, quick question. Why does a player like Oyarzabal, how come he never leaves? So sure that is a big club in its own way, but I feel he should be playing at a bigger stage. Oyarzabal, Mikel Oyarzabal.
I've been there.
San Sebastian?
I've been in San Sebastian, and first of all, I'm not paid by them, but it's one of the maybe top 3 places I've been in my life, and I'm from Italy. Fantastic place, best food ever. Seaside, incredible, fantastic. So I understand why it's difficult. And then the people from there, from Bilbao, from San Sebastian, it's very difficult for them to leave the place because they love to be there with the family. The country is fantastic. So it's very complicated. Look at Nico Williams. Nico Williams could go wherever he wanted. Bayern, Barcelona, Arsenal, everyone wanted Chelsea. Everyone wanted to sign him. I'm happy here. The place is fantastic. Why should I go in England? It's rainy. I don't want to get there. Or maybe Munich in Germany. So many of them think like this. So
this is great for the club, though.
Yeah.
It means you're always going to have like a wealth of talent who stay because the place is beautiful.
You obviously know the game so well.
Yeah.
Do you ever work from like, oh, I'm seeing these gaps in this team, I wonder, is like that your guiding principle, or is it always like mining? Like, what's your process when you go about
to be honest, 80-90% of the times it's about talking with people and getting the information on what they need. But this point is still very important to look at the games, try and understand what they really miss, what, for example, the manager could say, I need a player in this position. So you have the information, but you also need your own brain to process what could really happen. Because sometimes the clubs can tell you, or the agents can tell you something, but you still need to check with your own brain. I always say that. Don't just buy what they try to sell you. Always try to process and try, if you follow the game, and I love watching football, try to understand if that can really work, can't work, because maybe the truth is behind what they tell you.
Do clubs ever use you as an advisor because you have that insight?
No, advisor no. But maybe sometimes they can ask, it's true that this club is signing this player, just to understand that is part of the game.
Any talks about Olise moving to Real Madrid?
No, at the moment it's quiet. Real Madrid want Olise, is the reality. It's the dream target of the president, but Bayern don't want to sell him. So I think
that would be the biggest transfer fee in the world, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
How does Real Madrid always have this money, though? Am I missing something?
Go to the Bernabeu. It's the best stadium around. Every game you can make good money with this stadium.
It's packed.
Yeah. But I think it's also not about.
Then they are also.
I think it's also about the appeal of the club.
Yes, but how do they get them? I want to know how they have so much money, though.
Look, this summer they sold players that are not even wearing Real Madrid shirt for 120 millions, all with the buyback, with the sell-on clauses. Victor Munoz, 50%. Alvaro Rodriguez, 50%.
Nico
Mario
Paz.
Keila, 50%. Nico Paz, 50%. So money. Then they sell their own players sometimes, and then that's the secret.
Are there like some teams where you find they do a lot of their business in just like understanding how to get the transfers right? You know, like, so I know in England, Brighton is one of those teams.
Yeah, no.
Bournemouth.
Brentford as well.
Bournemouth, Brentford.
Yeah. No, these clubs are very good at this. But not just in England, all over Europe there are clubs who can make very smart business. Atalanta in Italy, for example, they won the Europa League. For me, it's a miracle that from a city like Bergamo, very small city, you can get to win the Europa League against Bayer Leverkusen with Xabi Alonso.
Right.
In Spain, there are also clubs who work very well. So, no, for sure. There are some good examples. It's not always easy in modern football, but yeah, Brighton for sure. I would mention Brighton.
Are there transfers that shocked you where you went like this can't be happening? Like when it broke that Messi was leaving Barcelona?
Yeah, that one has been the most shocking ever for me. Yeah. Because that one was not expected by Messi himself, by Barcelona, by everyone. In the morning at 8 a.m. they had the statement ready for the night. Messi staying, new contract, shirt, presentation. And then football is also like this. At 4 they say we can't proceed for La Liga rules. We are sorry, but it's Messi.
What's your favorite team to cover?
Favorite team to cover? I have to say, when you break my United stories, people go completely crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
More than any other team in the world?
I think United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, these three.
But United is like the...
Yeah, United, yeah.
That's really amazing.
United for me is shocking because they didn't win anything for the last like 10 years or long time. And still, when you go around, people in all angles of the world are still obsessed with Man United as they were when Ronaldo was there, Rooney was there, Giggs was there.
Yeah.
So the obsession of the Ferguson era is still there, even if they didn't win. All the other teams won something in the recent years. United didn't, and their fans are still crazy.
Who do you have winning the World Cup?
France.
I disagree with him. Okay.
Was there ever a story that got you in trouble?
Boy, so many stories. Every week.
Really?
Yeah, every week. Then I know how to manage it, but yeah, every week you create problems, unfortunately, breaking stories.
Wait, how do you create problems?
And maybe you say the story too early, the clubs wanted to keep it secret, and so maybe the price is driving up, there could be issues.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, so if you break a story early, you can make the price of a player go up?
Yeah, can happen. But it's not just me, journalists. I know people only say Fabrizio. Now, when the story is too late, Fabrizio is wrong. When the story is too early, Fabrizio is creating a problem. When the story is not out and out of nowhere it happens, Fabrizio didn't know. I say there are so many journalists, talk also to others, not just me.
The only time people are happy,
there are journalists.
The only time people are happy is when Fabrizio is breaking a story that favors their club.
Yeah, favors their
club. Most of the times we're like, Fabrizio, for heaven's sake.
M. Collins wants to know, will Vinny Jr. go to Arsenal?
No.
Okay. Damn, there you go. I love this. I love how quickly Fabrizio can say no to some of them.
Right.
So he already answered Vozinha into Miami. Give us some good news on Liverpool.
I think they will sign a very good winger, a very, very good winger. Barcola could be a name. He's not the only one in the list, but they will sign a top winger.
What is the number one transfer or story that you wish you could get that you didn't get?
When I was active or before I started this job?
No. Like now as Fabrizio, is there ever a story where you went, I wish I knew about that?
No, there was one. I like the transfers out of nowhere. So, this one is my feeling. Like, for example, there was Cancelo to Bayern. I remember that one. I was like 3 days saying I could have the story, and I didn't. And that one for me was special. I know it's not that big. You say, who cares about Cancelo to Bayern? But for me, it was out of nowhere at the end of the window. In the final days of the transfer window, I'm always super focused. So when I don't get a story, I go mad. And that one of Cancelo to Bayern was so beautiful. No one expected, out of nowhere, done deal. That one is still in my mind. You see, after so many years, people will say, who cares? It's Cancelo to Bayern.
Yeah, but you feel like you
missed it. The one that got away.
You feel like you missed it.
Yeah.
Why did you miss it? What happened?
I was focused on different things. You can't always control everything. Don't forget that other colleagues are very good, but maybe they work only on English football or on their own team, on their own country. I try to cover everything. And so sometimes maybe you are on phone covering River Plate and Arsenal are signing a player. Can happen. So I can't control everything, but still.
So it's funny, before we let you go, that's one of the stories that I literally thought of you. Did you see yesterday, chat? I don't know if you saw this. After Mbappe came off the field, he went to say hi to Jurgen Klopp, right? Liverpool coach, former Dortmund coach, legendary manager.
Yeah.
And he embraced him the same way Messi did. Hugged him, they talked for long, and they had a conversation. And then Jurgen Klopp told a story about Mbappe being the biggest transfer that never happened for Liverpool, that they also spent the most money on. And when he told the story, I was thinking of Fabrizio, because he said what they did for Liverpool was they got they flew to France.
In a private jet, yes.
In a private jet, put Mbappe's family in the private jet, took off, and they just flew around in circles.
They couldn't land.
Because they didn't want anyone to know that this conversation was happening. Do you even know about stories like that when they're happening?
Yeah, there are many stories, but you can tell these stories. And you know what happens? Maybe if I was happy that Klopp said that, because maybe if you, during that summer, if you said Liverpool are trying to sign Mbappe, people will say, but he went to PSG, you lied, fake news, you see, you are using the fans. And then can be true, because it's the reality, but they will never tell you right after. They will tell you after 7 years. So you look stupid in that moment. Then after 7 years, they look, guys, I told you Mbappe was trying, Liverpool were trying, and they will say, you already forgot, who cares?
Yeah, people don't care anymore.
That's the point, So sometimes I prefer to stay silent, don't say anything, and then just mention the story when it's sure where it's going.
When it's actually happening.
Okay, can you confirm?
Yeah.
Joe Opio, from Trevor's friend to Fabrizio Romano's assistant. Here we go.
Here we go. Done deal.
Medical done.
Let's sign the contract.
Yes.
No, medical will not be agreed. Medical will not be agreed. Fabrizio Romano, thank you for joining us.
Man, no.
Thank you.
The man himself is going to go break.